the Seventh Ray by the Ascended Master Saint Germain. Homes and Retreats. It is the privilege of the individual who is sufficiently advanced along the path of evolution to warrant his ascension to maintain a home in any of the planets in which he has served life, and he may return to this home at will in the performance of his duties. Many of the liberated hosts still hold such a focal point on the planet Earth, to which they very often return for one reason or another. This is generally a habitation that they have loved during their bodily existence, and while it may be occupied presently by other earthly tenants, it does not prevent the Master from holding the etheric record of the place in his consciousness as it appeared in his day, and his coming and going do not in the least disturb the current occupants. Rather does this circumstance make of it a focus of light and radiation in the location in which it is placed. Some masters sustain several homes in this way. Besides my home in Transylvania, I also maintain one in the etheric city over the Sahara Desert, from whence came the pattern for goodly living that was established on the earth thousands of centuries ago, when we all knew great perfection, peace, plenty, and happiness, and most important of all, had a conscious, intelligent, unbroken connection with our own God Self. I very often return to the glorious peace of this perfect home, from whence I unfold the earth and its people in the divine essence that is its natural atmosphere. Should you care to tune in to the celestial city where my home is, you will find returning to you on the beam of your attention the peace and harmony that form a permanent part of its environment. The Great White Brotherhood. The activities of the Great White Brotherhood are so diversified in their scope that it takes hundreds of free God beings to direct the various lines of force by which the progress of the race is ensured. At Shambhala you will see a steady stream of visitors passing to and from the throne of the King, all of whom are engaged in widening the borders of God's kingdom. It would be an utter impossibility for one ascended master to completely govern and execute the diversified activities of the mind and heart of God. Then how much less could one unascended being attempt to so concentrate the good that is planned for the progress of our star, the Earth, through the limited confines of a human consciousness? A moment's clear, unprejudiced thought will show the sanity of such a statement and the impossibility of such a service on the part of any one individual. If one unascended being could possibly provide the way and means of raising a planet and some 10 billion souls to the Christ estate, do you not think that the avatars who have lived and who have embodied all the Christ power of the Godhead would have performed this service? Yet Buddha has come and gone, and even Jesus, leaving room for other life streams to offer the energies and talents of their individual worlds to this evolutionary scheme. In our octave, the Great White Brotherhood was formed by Sanat Kumara in order to raise the consciousness of some of the children of this planet to a point where they might become lords of the flame, and then engage their life energies in teaching other members of the race how to so emit their own self-generated light. It is the nature of God to allow His children the opportunity of becoming co-creators with Him. In fact, it is the very reason for which the worlds were formed, and men and women sent forth to experiment with energy, that they might have the joy of creation through their own self-conscious endeavors. When an individual or group of individuals refuses to allow other life streams an opportunity to unfold, develop, and assist in the divine plan, such channels are not expressing the generosity of the Godhead or the Great White Brotherhood, which is constantly endeavoring to secure the enrollment and cooperation of the sons of men. Brotherhood of Man. There are not many life streams who can comprehend the task of stirring a desire for brotherhood in the hearts of the people, not to mention the far more difficult endeavor involved in the sacrifice of the outer self to the cause. Down through the centuries, since mankind fell from his natural estate of spiritual perfection, one could almost count on the fingers of one hand the incarnate life streams who worked with intensity to turn the attention of the human race to its divine plan. Then almost invariably, these dedicated spirits graduated from the wheel of birth and death to their own self-conscious endeavors, leaving the scene of earth's struggles to the remaining few who had seen their vision and endeavored to follow it. All spiritual endeavors on the part of the shepherds of the race are only as efficacious as the feeling of love within them. The sole purpose for rules and regulations in any endeavor is to assist the groping life streams up the ladder of evolution. But so often it is found that the letter killeth where the spirit should give life. The masters of wisdom always endeavor to inculcate the desire within the student of life to comply with certain laws. For then the progress is joyous and fruitful, and this is the true way to lead the sheep out of the cavernous shadows of human appearance into the light of God's awakening. It is commendable to hold aloft a lighted taper that its comforting beam may illumine the dark and tortuous pathway that leads from the world of shadows into the light. But when the oil of the Spirit is poured into a new lamp, wise are they who fill their individual lamps at its source, lest the wick run dry in times of greatest need. Then with what shall we light the way for the lesser sons of men? Many an individual stands with an empty lamp in the hour when its light is needed most. He has not then the sustenance light to guide those who look to him for the way. It is truly worthy of a spirit guardian to choose to remain with his people. But even we of the ascended host who live in harmony's heart visit often the sun of our system to be replenished, that we may better serve. Service to life. Insofar as service to life is concerned, the majority of people pursue a course set by their hearts, and all are given the gift of free will in this respect by cosmic law. However, it will be found that the more the consciousness of man opens itself to the light of truth, the nearer he will come to the comprehension of the mandates laid down by those who have trod the path to liberation before him. At the Last Supper, the Master Jesus gave the world an object lesson in humility when he washed his disciples' feet. Here we have an exemplification of the fact that the greater always serves the lesser, and this nobility of service is strictly adhered to in the service of the liberated host of light to a bounden and suffering humanity. In every realm outside of the kingdom where there is special need for assistance or in moments of great emergency, there will always be found these selfless sons and daughters of God serving their hapless brethren, unknown and unthanked. Many of these masters of love serve life in the deep shadows of the astral plane, and often with their bare hands strip the life streams whose karma compels them to dwell therein of frightful appearing human creations accumulated through many centuries' misuse of God's pure life energy. Others serve in places of still deeper shadows, where the light very rarely penetrates, striving to alleviate through love and mercy the karmic debt of suffering souls. Those selfless servers are emancipated beings, many of whom once walked the earth in garments of flesh, and who, through adherence to the cosmic law of life, self-abnegation and service, won their eternal freedom, yet who, when the gates of heaven opened wide before their eyes, voluntarily turned from the glory and happiness which they had so well merited, to serve their suffering brothers in whatever realm their karma placed them. In the case of the spiritually awakened man still in human form, the mercy of life offers him an opportunity to serve his fellow man insofar as his knowledge and capacity permit, while there is still unredeemed energy to be required. This service is measured by cosmic law against his karmic debt, and in this way it is permitted him to balance his debt to life in a few short years, which in the ordinary course of events would take many embodiments. Therefore, in his service to life under the dispensation of the seventh ray, the individual who serves is actually the greatest beneficiary. As the Master Jesus said, "Greater love than this no man hath, that he lay down his life for his friend." Cooperative Endeavor. Human consciousness is unpredictable. Sometimes it strays off into paths of its own choosing through free will, but after many tortuous windings, it eventually finds itself back again on the straight and safe pathway that leads to life everlasting. The channel of truth also takes many unnecessary windings, but from the cosmic fount has ever flowed the living waters by which the spiritual natures of mankind have been nourished. And if one door closes itself to the outpouring, the water of life must ever flow onward through such another channel as life will provide. But flow onward it must, impelled by the love of God that seeks ever to reach and expand himself through his children, and impelled also by the magnetic pull of the souls of men whose desire for understanding cannot be denied. Have you not seen a rivulet dammed up by debris find for itself another course and make a new bed through which to pour itself toward its goal? This is the nature of life: birth and death, ebb and flow, inhalation and exhalation, and no human being can ever interfere with the natural flow of the rhythm of life. The sun cannot limit its shining to one beam, nor the love of God to one human consciousness. The souls of men are the concern of the masters of wisdom. All men, brown and white and yellow, in all countries, because from the flame in their hearts will come the illumination which will make this dark star a flaming sun of freedom. Through the expansion of their light, the great Sanat Kumara will be able to return to his home on Venus after his centuries of exile on this planet, where, unknown and unrecognized except by the few, he has made up the balance of light from his own heart which the cosmic law demands from any star or planet if it is to hold its place in the solar system. Our Earth has fallen far behind its quota since the fall of man to the present day, and if it were not for the sacrifice of this great and mighty friend in continually making up our deficit in the generation of light, this planet would have been dissolved long ages ago. Now, however, since a certain number of humanity have responded to our call for the expansion of more light, we have hope that through our cooperative endeavors, more and more of mankind will awaken to their responsibility in the release of more harmonious energy, so that we may meet the quota of light demanded by cosmic law, and our great benefactor will be released from his self-imposed task of carrying our rightful obligations. Both Venus and the Earth are scheduled to pass through very severe initiations in the not too far distant future, and it is imperative that Sanat Kumara be with his planet as she passes through this crucial experience. It is also obvious that he would not abandon the task that he voluntarily took on himself of standing with the Earth and her people until she could meet the cosmic law's demands herself. You will not wonder, then, that the sons of heaven, being aware of this cosmic condition, are making extraordinary efforts through their combined energies to arouse mankind from the lethargic sleep of the senses to a point where they will recognize the serious position in which this planet, which is really their home, occupies at this cosmic moment. And understanding this will add their full share of endeavor to the task of expanding their light, which will not only release the beloved Sanat Kumara, but will ensure the Earth her rightful place in our system by reason of her light, her cosmic song, and her contribution to the melodies of the spheres.